Hi everyone and welcome. In the previous video we have covered that how we can log Modbus serial device data into SQLite database using NodeRED. Okay, so in this video we are going to do the same, but instead of SQLite database we are going to log our data into MySQL database. You can see this MySQL Workbench. In the test database we don't have any tables. Okay, so this was my previous table. Okay, we don't have tables right now, so we will create two tables for narrow data logging and wide format data logging, and then we will log our Modbus serial device data into this MySQL database, and we can read those data in MySQL Workbench to validate and verify our data. Okay, I have already created our NodeRED flow which can perform data logging for our Modbus serial device. But before proceeding with that, you can see this is our Modbus serial device, which is we call SHT20 Modbus Serial Transmitter, which is providing me temperature and humidity data. And I have connected this transmitter with the ATC converter. So this ATC converter is basically serial to USB converter. Okay, so this is the serial connection, and the second end of this ATC converter is the USB port, which I have connected with our system. So if you can open your computer management, then you can see I have connected this ATC converter to COM3 port. If I remove this ATC converter, okay, so there is auto refresh and you won't see any COM port available. Okay, if I connect it again, then you will see again that we have connected our ATC converter to COM3. So we can read this device data on COM3 port. Okay, so this device is connected to ATC converter and ATC converter is connected to our laptop, so we can read this device data over COM3 port. So we are going to use COM3 port to read the data. Now here I have my first node, which is Modbus read node. Okay, in the previous video I have used Modbus getter node, but I have found that Modbus read node has already a poll rate function. Okay, so instead of inject node, we can also use Modbus read node to auto read our data at certain interval, and we can perform our task which we were performing using the inject node. So this is my SHT20 device, so that is why I have given the name SHT20. The unit ID of my device is 1, so I am talking about this device. The function code 4, because we are reading the data on input register. Okay, so basically this device is giving data on input register, so that is why I have selected function code 4. Now the address is 1 and the quantity we want to read is 2, because we are going to read two data, temperature and humidity, and the poll rate I have set is 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds I want to read the data, so that is why I have set the poll rate 5 seconds. Now the server. So the server is basically our device configuration. Okay, so you have to set your device configuration. In case of TCP device, you have to specify the IP address and port number, but in case of serial device, you have to specify so many things. So if you click on this pencil here, then you can see you have to specify name. Okay, so name is optional. I have specified as SHT20 because it's my device. Now type, so you can select TCP in case of TCP, but this is a serial communication, so I have selected serial expert. If you select serial communication here, or if you select type serial, then some of the options will not be available, so I have selected serial expert. Now serial port is COM3. As you guys already know, my ATC converter is connected to COM3 port with my laptop, so I have selected COM3. Now serial type. So instead of RTU, I prefer you to choose the RTU buffer, because RTU is giving some error like CRC checking error or data length error. Okay, so to avoid those error, we can select RTU buffer. Now this is the baud rate, data bit parity and stop bit are the configuration of this serial device. Okay, so this serial device is giving data on 9600 baud rate, data bits 8, stop bit 1, and the parity none, and the unit ID is 1 for this device. Okay, so I have specified everything here as a Modbus server, or you can say Modbus device, and this is the our tag configuration that we want to read two quantity. Starting address is 1. We are going to read data from input register, and polling rate is 5 seconds. Okay, so that is why I have specified everything here, and instead of that inject node, I have used this time Modbus read node. Okay, after reading the data from Modbus read node, I am passing those data to this function node. And if you have watched my previous video, then in the previous video I have detailed explanation that why I have used this function node, why I have used this change node to change my data and to set my data. Okay, and then after setting the data, I am passing those data to SQL query, and once this SQL query run on my database, the data will get stored into the database and specified table. Okay, so that is why I have created this processing node. Here also there is processing node, but these two box represent the different data format. Okay, different table format. So if I deploy my flow and if I go to Workbench, then you will see there is no tables here. Okay, now if I create this first table, you can see output as a okay. So our table is created. You can see Modbus data. You can see my table format, like first column is ID, second column is timestamp, third column is tag, and the fourth column is tag value. In the third column you will get tag name, and in the fourth column against the tag name you will get tag value. Okay, so this is the first kind of table, and if I create second kind of table, then you will see some difference here. So in the first kind of table we have a tag column in which we are having tag name. So instead of tag name I have created column for my data. Okay, so ID, timestamp, and instead of tag name and tag value I have created temperature tag column and humidity tag column. In that column I am having my data. Okay, like temperature value and humidity tag value. So there are two different kind of table format I have created for this for data logging purpose. Okay, so we are logging our data in those two tables. Okay, and here I have to segregate my data for temperature and humidity with the two functions. So instead of using two functions, here I have updated to use one function only and provide this data to the change node, and this change node will provide data to SQL query, and this SQL query log the data into SQL database. Okay, in this case our SQL database is MySQL database. Okay, so we have table is created. Now we have to just enable this node to log data at interval of 5 seconds. So if I enable this one, if I press done and if I deploy it, then you can see the lighting. Okay, every 5 seconds you will see light blink here. Yeah, you got light blink, right? So again you will get light blink at 5 seconds. Okay, so whenever you got a light blink, so it means that this node is reading data from this SHT20 Modbus Serial Transmitter. Now if I go to my database and table, if I run my query, then you can see every 5 seconds I am having a data logging 48, 53, 58, 03, and then I have a data at 08 and 013. Okay, so this is the another data format, and the previous one you will see here. If I run my query, then you will see for each data logging I will get 2 row here, and for each data logging I am getting only 1 row here. So that is the difference between these two tables. Okay, you can see count. You will see count like here. Okay, so 20 rows written, and here if I am running this, then you will see 24 rows written. Okay, so this flow is running perfect, and this is logging data into MySQL database at every 5 second of interval. Okay, so you can use this data for your future analysis or any other purpose, like graphing or reporting or whatever you wanted to do. Okay, so this is how you can read your Modbus serial device data into NodeRED, and after reading those data you can log your data into MySQL database. Okay, so if you have any question or concern regarding this MySQL data logging, then you can ping me on WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, anywhere. I will try to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. Okay, so we will meet you in the next video, and till then, take care, goodbye, and thank you.